So I have this giant TV here. Normally it sits on legs, but I thought I would do something special with how I'm going to display this one. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I have this 65-inch Hisense ULED TV. It's been a great TV. It's been the best TV I've ever owned. Picture quality, sound quality, and the voice control. Hey Google, turn on the TV. And one of the things that I was thinking here is because I can control this thing with my voice, and because it's so beautiful, and because I don't need to hook it up to a sound bar, I thought, well, I don't need to display this like a standard TV either. Hey Google, home. So that gives me some options here, and I'm standing here in my living room, and I even thought about mounting this on the wall, but I thought I would do something even more unique. Now, actually, what I really was thinking about one time was buying that Samsung frame TV, mounting it on the wall, having it really kind of blend into this room. It tends to be a little bit more formal, tends to be a little bit more open, modern space. I don't really hang out in here a ton, but when I have extra people, it's fun to just kind of lounge on the larger couch and talk. But I've never had a TV in here. But since that Samsung frame is stupidly expensive, I mean, it's like a $600 TV and $2,000 worth of technology to display pictures, I thought maybe I could do something that would be really cool, modern, contemporary, take advantage of all the tech in this TV, and fit the decor of this room. So I got this. This is a tripod easel stand for a TV. Now, this thing advertises itself to be for TVs up to 65 inches and 77 pounds. And I'll tell you what, I'm a little skeptical because it's one, not that big of a box, and two, it's not super heavy, but I'm assuming that they know what they're doing. And here, I got this one with wood legs because I liked the look, although I'd almost rather they were fake wood legs so that I knew that they were strong metal or something like that. But let's get this unboxed, bolted to the back of the TV there, and see if it works. All right, so let's see what we get. All right, so we get a little manual here. I'll put that to the side. You can see what the legs look like. They aren't that big, but they are decently large up at the top here, maybe about 1.25 inches in diameter. So they feel nice. It's a really smooth wood finish. It's got a little bit of kind of a caramel look to it. I don't know, like an oak look. So I think the whole leg is wood, but you can see right down here we have these kind of hard rubber ends. So when you put this on the ground, it should kind of hold in place. They taper a little bit. So it's probably about 1 inch, maybe just a little larger than 1 inch diameter down here at the bottom. But up here, it's just a smidge wider, and you can see the threaded screw that goes in there. And then what we will have are the rest of the pieces. And it's this main one here, this metal post. Yeah, it looks like it's black powder coated or something like that. And then we have this little join at the bottom where you will screw in all of those legs. I will tell you, this post is actually pretty robust. It does not feel like cheap metal at all. In fact, it's got some heft to it. Because I am big and burly, it's no problem to curl this thing. But yeah, it definitely has some strength to it. And I would say that it's also possible that this is pretty thick metal. Now, we also have these two brackets that will basically bolt onto the back of the TV wherever you have your VESA mounting points. And then you can see here that we have a little sleeve molded in there. It's got this plastic sleeve on the inside there. And then once these are on, you will drop this over the top of the bar right here. And I think you will adjust this little collar right here. It's got a screw there so that it will be a stop. So I'm actually gonna probably put it pretty low. If you have a smaller TV, you could raise that up and keep it up a little higher, but you will just basically be kind of dropping this down on the TV. And then it also looks like, at least on this one, we have another little screw hole right there. So you will tighten that down to really kind of clamp this on to the bar right there. We also have a little bag of hardware. So we've got some wall mounts here. These will go into the wall, and then we have some cables so that you can brace the TV so it doesn't fall over. And then we also have, looks like, all of the bolts that you will need to assemble this thing. I'm actually hoping that there are some screws that will screw into the TV too, because the back of my TV, I only have a couple screws. So I think we get enough here that I should find what I need. And I will also say that I saw a little Allen key tool right there. All right, so let's get these bars bolted to the back of the TV, see if we can get this thing going. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is attach this one bar. This is going to go towards the middle. This is the top of the TV, and this is the bar that has this collared piece that does not open up. So this does not open up, pivot up. The one that will go lower is the one that will open up. So I think this is just kind of meant to brace that top in place. As you can see, we have some pretty big holes on either side here, and here are the top of my VESA mounting points. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the screws that are already in there. I don't know that I'm going to be able to use these because they might be too short, but maybe I can. You can see that they're not that long, but the holes aren't that deep. The thing that they do say that I'm going to use are these MA screws. And then I'm going to use these MG. They're kind of like a thick washer. And then the MF mounting plate. So I'm going to basically put this up here and then put a little mounting plate on there, the little spacer, and then that screw, I think that's going to hold it in. So I'm going to do that on either side here. The other thing that I want to point out here is that for whatever reason in the manual, it shows the side that has the circular holes will go on this side, and then the ones with the long slots here to make the adjustment for whatever the space is on the left side here. So I don't know that is totally necessary, but I'm going to follow the directions. And for both of the bars here, then I'm going to make sure that the circular holes are always on this side. All right, let's get these stacked and screwed down. All right, so I've got the little plate down there. I've got the little ring right there. Now I want to show you here, these MA screws were too thin, too small to work, but B screws here look like they are thick enough to fit into that hole, so I can put it in there and they are catching that thread, and now I can screw that down, and I think it will kind of crush that washer in there. So you want to make sure that that is screwed down pretty tight. All right, so a couple things that I'm going to do here, which I'm going to violate the instructions just a little bit. I'm going to angle these vertically because then it kind of butts up against the base plate there, and I'm going to take out that little crush washer thing that they have because I have found that there's enough threading here that I can screw down and it will press right up against the metal washer right there. So that is not moving, and I feel a little bit better than without this washer because with that in there, it's not really grabbing a lot of thread. So I'd rather have more threads grabbed than less here. So same on both sides here. Just going to tighten them down once here, and then I'm going to tighten them down just a little bit tighter when I get all of the brackets on. All right, time to assemble the legs and the easel itself. I want to show you that there are two long legs and then one short one. And then if we look at the metal bracket here, you can see we actually have two longer protrusions and a shorter one. That shorter one will be in the back, so the two long legs are kind of going to extend out in front of the TV to give it a little bit more stability, I think. So what you're going to want to do here is you're going to take the short one and put it in that short hole right there and screw all of these in. Just make sure they are hand tight. I would kind of give them another little twist with your hand, and if you are strong like me, don't over twist it because you'll just strip the threads. But if you're a normal person and you're just tightening it in, you know, just tightening it until you can't move it anymore, I think is kind of the way to go, right? So let's get these in and get it attached to the TV. All right, so I have this set up here. This collar is pretty loose. So what I did is I moved it pretty much as far down as I can. You can see how this flares out. So I don't want to go below this. And I have moved the little protrusion here for the screw towards the back leg. And then I've taken the tool here and I'm just going to tighten this down. Probably not try to over tighten it, but make sure that it doesn't move. And we'll take the weight of the TV as it presses down on it just to kind of brace it from falling down any lower. But I do want it as low as possible here. All right, so what you could do here is pick this up and drop it on the stand. But because the TV is a 65-incher and about 70 pounds, I think. I'm actually going to take the stand and I'm going to thread it into the back here. You can see I got this open, and then I'm going to screw it down and then lift up the TV because I think that's going to be the easier way. At least I hope. And if I don't finish this video because I dropped the TV and smash it into 1,000 pieces and just say that this is a terrible easel, then you know what happened. You know, the TV came apart. Okay, let's get it set up. So in it goes. I'm going to get that buttered up pretty close to there. Ooh, back it off just a smidge, get this tightened down. All right, I've gone fisheye lens on this thing because I got it set up here and It's kind of huge. So it's almost a little comical how big this TV is. I know that the stand advertises itself as compatible with the 65-inch. And if you have a 65-inch, it's actually a good way to go because this is so minimalist down here. The little easel legs are very strong. I have no doubt that they are going to work. I love the little rubber feet on there. The tripod base means it's going to be very stable, even if you have a little less than even floor or tile or something like that, because you don't have the four legs of a table or TV stand, then you don't have to worry about any wobbling, which is really nice. Now, one thing I will say about this is that, to me, it looks great. It's got a minimalist, modern look, and actually, I even have this little dust cover right here. It is a Van Gogh painting, and I can drape it over that and just kind of hide this thing if I don't want to put it on display because, you know, TVs, when they're off, are just a big black hole. Now, if I swing around here to the back, I want to show you that these bars are mounted here, and you can see that everything that is holding the TV is down here. So this is where your VESA mount would be. You can see how low on the post I mounted this, and it's kind of settled down onto this collar. So you want to make sure you put that where you want the TV to sit. And now I also want to show you, you can see the little seam right there. This post up here is screwed into this base. So what that allows you to do here is to turn this TV. It allows you to kind of angle it. You can see it's very, very close to the post right there, but it means I don't have to move my base here, and I can kind of give myself a perfect angle, especially if this is maybe in the corner of the room and you've got it moved out of the way to take up less space, and then you want to, you know, swing it over here or something like that. You can see how this is kind of moving on the post, but I can tell you that this post also moves. So I guess it just depends how tight that is. I might tighten that down just a little bit more, but this post will move on there. Now, because it's screwed in there, if you keep swinging it around 360 degrees multiple times, you're going to work this post out. So I think they advertise, you know, 270 degrees. You can kind of rotate this almost all the way around, 3/4 of a circle really, but don't get any more aggressive than that. I will also say, if I go here to the side, what you can see here is how the TV is vertical, but then those two longer legs jut out the front, and the bottom of the legs is probably 6 inches, 5 inches in front of the TV screen. And then obviously this back leg is probably 8 or 9 inches behind the TV. So you do have a pretty good base. Now, what I would say is if you are putting this up against a drywall wall, I would use those anchors that it comes with to put the cables into the back so that if someone does get aggressive with it, is clumsy, an accident happens and the TV falls forward, one, it's not going to hurt anyone. Two, it's not going to destroy the TV. Obviously, you want to stay safe, so you can put those anchors in. It's just like putting a bookcase against a shelf. Most people don't realize that most of those bookcases are anchored to the wall. But I really like this thing. It looks pretty good to me. You know, even in the back here, it's just got a minimalist look. I bet if you had those easel legs in black, you can definitely get them in different colors from different manufacturers. But if they were black, it would almost be a little more minimalist, or if they were the same color as your wall. I mean, it just kind of makes the TV look like it's floating there. But if you have a room where you don't have a TV stand, you don't want to bring in a really big piece of furniture, this is the easiest way to do it because it comes in this little tiny box and it just makes the TV look like it's floating. It doesn't take up a lot of space front to back, certainly not left to right here. So I actually really love it. I didn't even know these things existed. And then combined with my dust cover here, now it kind of looks like a painting, piece of art just sitting in my room. So great way to hide a TV if you don't want to make your TV the focal point of the room. Hey, if you want to pick up this stand here, I really like it. I will also say I picked it up because it was one of the cheapest ones out there. You can easily spend $200 on a tripod easel stand, but this one was, I think, under 80 bucks, maybe right around there, $81, $82. So one of the cheaper ones, and I can tell you it is pretty good and really easy to install. And then I will also put a link to this dust cover here too. So if you want the whole package, you know, put a painting on display in your room, but really have that TV for when you need it. I think this thing will help maybe improve your life, give your living space a little bit of style. I'll put a link to everything you need in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.
We can discover more and explore so much